According to a recent report from the OCDE, today there is around 50 million international SMEs worldwide. Around 70% of them are already engaged in some kind of digital transformation, but the road to complete this journey is very complex and filled with a lot of obstacles. Among of these, we can mention the lack of understanding of the local regulation, finding the workforce, maintaining efficiency while experiencing a new operating model or adapting to new opportunities. Thankfully, technologies like Odoo can support those companies' journey when going international, thanks to the wide range of application and features, the flexibility and the native integration that it offers. My name is Antoine Sancy. I'm the Odoo implementation lead at KPMG, and I'm glad to be here on stage to embark you on a 20-minute journey on how multi-country Odoo deployment are possible within sticking to 90% of standard configuration. I will be shortly joined by Bea Bins, Director at KPMG in charge of the Odoo accounting related services, and by Jean-François Potelle, General Manager of Metron. With Bea, we will focus on the most important aspect to consider when going on a multi-country journey on Odoo. What are the aspects to consider? What are the things that you need to think when you are implementing such a project? Jean-François will later join us to share his own experience about the Odoo implementation that he performed at Metron, his company. So without further ado, let's welcome Bea on stage.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, a bit of applause is always nice. Thank you, Bea. So before we deep dive into the topic, maybe first can you explain your important role in the collaboration that happened between KPMG and Odoo a few years ago?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Bea Bins. I'm a director in the office in Brussels. Let me tell you first the following. Digitalization plays an increasingly important role for every company. So that's the first step that you have to take in mind. And then it's therefore extremely important that companies equip themselves with the good and maintain the good software and constantly evaluate their processes. By doing so, and that's why we chose Odoo in 2022 already, we have opted for a single, fully integrated platform that allows us. We have opted for a single, fully integrated platform. Choosing Odoo as a software also meant choosing a company that is always at the forefront of innovation, reinventing itself and integrating unique features. Odoo has therefore set itself the goal to guide them, to understand the processes of companies and to develop the tools they need. This vision is in line with ours, as it is our mission to provide our clients, regardless of the size of the clients, with the advice and digital tools they need to successfully achieve their business goals. The partnership involves setting up a special department at KPMG Accountants. My role and others is in this partnership involves overseeing the integration of Odoo solutions, the features, the new features, also the ones of today, within the KPMG framework.
Thank you, Bea. So now if we did dive in this multi-country accounting deployment, my first question for you is very simple, is why should we consider at some point to use the multi-company?
Yes. Why should we consider the multi-company? I have a few items to mention. Of course, when you have more than one company, it seems logic, I think. The second thing is, when you would like to have a joint reporting, you have to think about it, if it's in a multi-company. Share data. Would you like to share data amongst every country, amongst every company? Various countries, also very important, various bookkeeping. Is it something that you want to do? And at least, not the latest one, but the intercompany transactions. Intercompany transactions, it seems logic, but it's also an item that we cannot forget.
That's right. And when we are working on this implementation, what are the aspects of the accounting that are really important to consider to do to have a great end result?
Yeah, we have a few items to consider. First of all, let me double check. Yeah. First of all, the setup is very important for if you have a multi-country or multi-company environment. What is also very important is the local legal matters. Of course, the localizations, as mentioned this morning also, localizations have expanded. That's very good news for us. The user management is a very item that you have to consider. Local VAT, of course, and it's also mentioned this morning, the fleet policy. You have the local reportings, you have expense policies, group accounting plan, all the items you have to see not only for the country, but you have to see it for the group, so the multi-country environment. Different currencies, also a very item, and then also the local chart of accounts and the centralized access management.
So you are probably wondering at that stage, what can Odoo do or not? You've seen probably this morning, or for those who know Odoo quite well, you already know that some of these things exist, some new things have been added. Mm-hmm. It will be too long to list everything that the accounting module can do in standard, but I invite you to do two things. There was a great session earlier this morning given by Bea and Stephanie here to explain into more details what Odoo can do, and if you have questions, we will be at the booth in the Hall 10, the KPMG booth. So don't hesitate to come by to deep dives in those topics. Maybe a last question, what are the benefits of the multi-company database?
As also already mentioned, of course, centralized data management. I think it's all for you all important that you have centralized information, that the data can be shared. What is also important, the centralized transactional bookkeeping with local, for example, KPMG review. So you have to, centralized transactions can be done in an Odoo multi-company database and on the local review at that stage. The scalability and the flexibility. Scalability, what means you can start with one country, you can start with one app, but you can then scale up with the other countries and scale up, of course, with reporting, fleet management, and all the things that we also explained this morning. A very important topic that I forgot in the first slide is the lower license cost, of course. If you have one database, if you have one software that you can use for every item in your company, of course, the cost is lower for your IT infrastructure. And also, if you work together, the trainings of the people, the trainings and the support and things like that will be also lower. Streamlined intercompany transactions. If you send an invoice from a company A to company B and it's an intercompany, now sometimes you send it but you don't receive it. So it's very important that the intercompany transactions are also aligned. And of course the sharing of data among other entities while maintaining that strict separate company in Odoo database because you have local VAT, tax matters and legal matters.
Thank you, Bea, for explaining how this specific topic, which is accounting, and very important for every company, can be handled in Odoo, in one database, in a multi-company environment. We will give some applause to Bea, while Jean-François will join me on stage. I think there is a bit of setup, so in the meantime, so Jean-François here is the general manager of Metron. I will give him a moment to present himself and the company. But he has been my point of contact for more than a year now in this implementation of Metron, so a global group. And now we can also give some applause to Jean-François. And Jean-François, first, can you introduce yourself and explain a bit what Metron is doing?
Of course. So my name is Jean-François Potelle. I'm the co-founder of Dapesco, who joined the group Metron some years ago. Metron developed a software focalized on energy management. So we call that an energy management system. we are active on different continents, on different countries. We have 9 subsidiaries, and we are monitoring the data of more than 25,000 buildings and factories and warehouses and shops everywhere in the world. Okay, you see we have a large company who are helping us, but we have signed alliance with a big group to be sure to develop not only a platform but also services to help our customer to decarbonize their activities. We are active on all the sectors, so our like an ERP provider, we are able to help each kind of activity and to give our customers KPI according to what they have to do. We have two big part, two modules in our platform. One is developed in Belgium with multi-site purpose. So we give to the corporate level the capacity to follow a dashboard on energy consumption, on a roadmap on the decarbonization. And we have a second module dedicated on monosite, able to follow more than 100 meters on one side in real time to optimize the production and the consumption with all the elements according to what they have to do.
Thank you. So for the rest of this testimonial, I will leave in the background a nice picture of one of the many go-live we already did with the smile, which is already a good sign, with Jean-François, myself, and part of the rest of the team. So Jean-François, first question, before embarking in this Odoo implementation, can you explain a bit what was the context of Metron?
Okay, so Metron was a startup and then a scale-up. They developed very quickly on the different countries, and with a French organization, it will say that we had different VP who organize their activity for the target they have received. And in the story of Metron, each VP, each department has chosen its own tool to do its own activity without having any coordination. So when we joined the group, we have a lot of difficulties to have a global cockpit, a financial cockpit, a global cockpit on the sales. Everything was done in different tools without any link between those tools. So everything was downloaded in Excel spreadsheet and reworked to can follow that. So it takes a lot of time to everybody.
So as you can see, there was a need to some changes. And so one thing, your office in Louvain-la-Neuve is actually next to Odoo, so less than 100 meters away, but also not far from the KPMG's office. So one question is, was it obvious for you to choose Odoo as the ERP and KPMG as the integrated partner?
Absolutely not. It was not obvious. It was not the main criteria to choose a tool. I have tested Odoo some years ago, and I found it very easy to use and to implement. I know that my challenge was bigger because I had to start with a financial configuration on the different countries. So I look on the market different provider who can help me for this mission. KPMG was not the first on my list, on my short list. At the end, it was the first because we had the same vision of what an ERP has to how an ERP has to be implemented.
Okay, and can you explain a bit more what is the vision that
Okay,
that was reflected?
my vision is according to the experience we have to implement an EMS, what we develop with big group. We know that at the beginning, it's better to choose only the general functionality of a platform and not to ask the specific way we are used to work in the company. It's better to take the tool and to adapt our process than the other position. And KPMG is the only one who has the same approach of me. They tell me in a first step we will implement the general functionalities of Odoo, and we will not develop specific functionalities to adapt to your business.
So as you can see, it's already nice for us to see a client in front of us with the same mindset. If we move forward a little bit, so we discussed during before the project what could be done in Odoo and add some ideas about the full implementation, what it could look like. But in the end, you've decided to start smaller with a reduced scope, focusing on a few entities and only on the accounting. Can you explain a bit more why you made that decision in the first place?
Okay, when I proposed this project to the COPEX of the board of directors, who is taking the decision for the group, some of those guys had heard some bad experience about Odoo. So they asked me to limit the risk and to have a first step on a limited area. So we have started very slowly, or very on a very little perimeters, but very quickly we enlarged that to the whole group. I think in one trimester, in three months, the decision was taken to have a full integration.
And about the full integration, so Metron is a global group, so there are subsidiaries in Belgium, France, but also in countries like Colombia, Brazil, Japan, where we know in the previous version of Odoo, at least the localization package are not always as complete as it should be to manage the full accounting, yet some solutions were found. Maybe I can let you explain how we approach this specific setup.
Yes, except in LATAM, Odoo is now our first tool to follow the daily accounting. In LATAM, because of the specificity of the regulation and the fiscal law, we have decided to keep our accountant office and their own tool as first daily tool. But each month we integrate all the data in Odoo. So the fiscal tool for those countries remain the original one, but the global tool is Odoo, and we have an automation for the integration of the data each month to have an automatic dashboard at the group level.
I specify when we say automation, it's done out of Odoo and the integration is manual, but requires not a lot of work, so not automation as in development. And now that you've been using Odoo for a few months now, can you already share some of the benefit that you've noticed with the time by using this solution as the main ERP?
The first benefit is the time we save each day. The GNA team, so the people who are doing daily the accounting in each country, is saving a lot of time because the reporting is automatic. So the CFO of the group see each day online the result and his dashboard. So we don't have to have in the same time the closing of the month and the fulfillment of Excel file to send to the group. So the first thing is saving time to do the job and reducing of the G&A team. The second is that the COMEX has a clear vision day by day of how the company is evolving in the different country. So it's the two biggest saving we have done up to now, but it's not finished.
No, indeed, it's not finished. We still have some work to do, but maybe with the from the beginning of the implementation until now, as your vision for Odoo, what would be its role, its position in the company evolve, or what is the general vision you have for Odoo at Metron?
The vision has not evolved. I know from the beginning of this project that Odoo has to be the only tool we have to use daily to do our internal management. My vision for the future is that we have to connect Odoo and our own platform to automatize a lot of things, to be able to manage. I don't know. We have to collect the data in some countries. We have to receive the sign of our customer. We have to do that through Odoo and to put this documentation from Odoo in our system. So I think the link between the energy system and the ERP will be the next big step that we will do.
Of course, that will be out of standard, but we know it from the beginning. We still have a bit of time, so maybe to conclude on your side, a fun fact or an anecdote to share with us about the implementation or something that happened during those past months?
Yes, a small point. In the same time, the board decided to deploy Odoo on a limited perimeter, so in 3 countries for the accounting. They also decide to choose another tool to do invoicing. They have started to implement it, to configure this platform during, I don't know, between July and December. So during 5 months, they have had an intensive work to configure a second platform. And at the end of December, they have they've decided that this other platform was not good enough to do the job. So in 1 month during January, we jumped on Odoo, and the invoicing was active in 1 month on the global perimeter of the groups of so in the different countries, in the 9 countries where we have a subsidiary.
And again, in full standard.
In full standard.
Maybe a fun fact also on my side. So we talk a lot about how Odoo is easy to use. So one day while working, I opened the production database and I was surprised to see new application popping up. So as the integrator, you always wonder, okay, what happened? Who did this mistake to deploy some module without checking that it was in a test database? After a short investigation, it was actually Jean-François who decided that he wanted to play more with Odoo, but not only play, he already configured most of the module to what he needed, using again everything that the system had, but it fitted exactly what he wanted. So I think that's also, it's a nice anecdote because it shows how Odoo, how easy Odoo is to be taken in hand in a snap of finger when you get to know the platform. So really a great achievement also for us to see that. Thank you, Jean-François, for sharing your experience. You can give him some applause. To conclude, I would like to mention a few things. So what you've heard and what is also important is that from the customer side, from the beginning, the same vision, the same plan is discussed and shared between them and us. Otherwise, it gets more complicated. It's not impossible, but it takes more time to make sure that we can really focus on the standard. Of course, at KPMG, we have developed also a set of expertise that we can leverage on such projects. On one side, obviously, we train our consultant to be Odoo expert, but Odoo expert on the standard, knowing exactly what the system can do, understanding when they need to stop, and if the request goes beyond what the standard can do. Before suggesting a development, we try to think in a different way, and that's where our specific experts can be involved. Sometimes Odoo is not bad. Sometimes Odoo is actually good for what the client needs to do, but it needs to change the way to work, and it's good to have someone outside the project who can bring his experience to help adapting the processes. So that's one thing that we try when needed to put into the discussion to make sure that we can continue on a standard path. Finally, our accounting experts, and in Belgium, Odoo accounting experts, they know the accounting, they use it on a daily basis, so it's really an accelerator to deploy the accounting itself and make sure that it's ready to be used as soon as possible. But in a multi-country deployment, there are also some specificities for other countries, and the global network of accountants can support those implementations by taking over some tasks on their side or validating the configuration that we've done. So thank you for following us on this small journey on the multi-country success implementation using 90% of standard feature. Fortunately, we won't have the time for a Q&A, but if you have questions, we will be waiting outside the place, so we can have a discussion, or you can join us at our booth in the Hall 10, booth number 10. Thank you.